In honor of the 25th anniversary of the Digimon franchise, Bandai held a few events over the weekend to celebrate its history and to share more about its future. There was a lot going on, but I'm here to focus on one thing in particular, and that's the Vital Bracelet BE. With new Digimon products to talk about, the question always asked is, where can I buy these? And the answer to that question is this video's sponsor, Zenon TCG. Zenon TCG is your one-stop shop for Digimon and anime merch, and is already taking pre-orders for the 25th anniversary edition of the Vital Bracelet BE. As other Vital Bracelet BE products are officially announced, they will of course be offering those as well, including the various crossover BE memories for franchises such as My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer. Not only do they have a ton of great Digimon and anime products, but they even ship worldwide. Through the end of the month, you can use the code ZenonB to get 8% off your order when you purchase a Vital Bracelet BE or BE memory. That's not all though. Through August 12th, Zenon TCG is running a giveaway promotion. If you purchase a Vital Bracelet BE from them during that time frame, you will be automatically entered to win a copy of Digimon Survive for Steam, Nintendo Switch, or PlayStation 4. Links are in the description, so make sure to check them out and get yours. One of the events over the weekend was the Digimon 25th Anniversary Museum, which was an actual physical museum you can go into and look at all sorts of art, and most importantly, devices from Digimon's past. They had a whole arrangement of different devices out on display. Very cool to see. Unfortunately, I don't live in Japan, so I didn't get to go and see it, but there were a few things of note that should be covered here, that thankfully they had a video produced by Bandai to share a little bit more about the museum for those that couldn't go. So first thing to share is that they had the Espimon and Ryutamon Dim Cards. They're immediately available for purchase. Those don't come out for the general public until this upcoming weekend, so people that went to the Digimon Museum were able to purchase theirs a little bit earlier. So cool to see that. Those are already out in the wild, so if you're on the Vital Bracelet Lab app and you see the weird little blue flying gummy bear, you'll know why you're seeing that suddenly. So the rest of us are waiting, but yeah, it's already in the hands of people who are lucky enough to go to this event. They also showed off the Super Complete Selection Animation D-Scanner from Digimon Frontier, and this was something they teased not too long ago. They had a little silhouette of it, and I will say I am disappointed. I was hoping it would be an actual, playable LCD toy, what the original D-Scanner was, and not the CSA device that we saw with Digimon Tamers in their latest D-Arc release. So some people are really excited about it though. Good for them. I'm sure it'll be super flashy, super cool. It's not one of the classic LCD toys where you go on a little quest with different Digimon. I don't actually remember what the D-Scanner gameplay was like. I had a D-Tector as a kid, but it was very different from the D-Scanner. I had a Scanners, if you remember those. It might have been similar to that. I know there's barcode scanning in there, but either way, I would have probably liked to get my hand on one if it was that original LCD toy, but since they're going with the SCSA option, I'm personally going to skip it, so don't expect to see any content on that. It's not really something you play with. It's more of an accessory, something for cosplay and stuff, and it's still very cool. If you like Digimon Frontier, then there you go. Go grab that. I'm sure you'll love it. So, moving on to the actual Vital Bracelet BE, they had a display of various products from there, especially from the 25th Anniversary Edition. And we're going to be going into that hardcore here in a second, but I did just want to bring up a couple things about the Vital Bracelet BE in general before I start getting into the specifics. So, as a reminder, there are many different varieties of the Vital Bracelet BE right now, and we see a few of them right here. In the middle, we have the 25th Anniversary Edition, and we have the Digivice Dual V. And then there's also the base model, and the base model has all sorts of colors with it. To be 100% clear, these are all the same device. Every Vital Bracelet BE is the same as any other Vital Bracelet BE. They just come in different colors, and will have different packed-in BE memory cards. So don't worry about which one can do what, because they can all do the exact same thing. It's just a matter of your personal preference for which one you buy. We also do not have any release dates or pricing for either the base model of the Vital Bracelet BE or the Digivice Dual V. We don't know anything about when those are coming out or how much they will be, so yeah, we just have to keep waiting on that one. We should know real soon, especially because we do know for the 25th Anniversary Edition. Again, I'll share that in just a minute, but yeah, and if you are confused about the Vital Bracelet BE, or if this is your first video that you are watching about the Vital Bracelet BE, I highly recommend going back and watching my previous videos about this. The last one had a whole bunch of updates. The last one about the BE, I should say, had a whole bunch of updates about what it can do, what makes it different from the other Vital Bracelets. And if you're also interested in how this is different from the Vital Hero, I did just release a video on that just the other day. which goes entirely over every feature of the Vital Hero, so you should be able to watch that, and then watch this and make a fair comparison as to what can do what. So yeah, go watch those if you haven't already, then come back to this video, pick up from right here, and we'll move right into this. So we have this is again the 25th anniversary edition of the Vital Bracelet BE, and what you're looking at here is what comes with it. So we have the actual BE itself, which is inside the brown wrist strap. It looks red. I know it looks red, but it's called brown, all right? That's just how it's been forever. We call that brown. So that's the actual model in there. You see the little dot art Agumon because the BE memory that it comes with has a bunch of dot art on it. Very cute. But you'll notice that the item on the right is just the strap. We have the gray strap over there. So cool thing about this is that you'll be able to swap the straps around, and I'll show off a little bit of that here in a second. I think they have an image of that. But it also comes with some art by Kenji Watanabe and the BE memory itself. So let's just go ahead and head straight over to the website here and just kind of look through everything that will be involved with this. So the first few frames here are just basic information about the Vital Bracelet BE. Nothing crazy to go about. We have a video. You can see they're inspired by the original virtual pets. We already knew that, of course. That's very clear. And we have, so here's the first important thing, right, is that like I said, the straps on this are swappable. So you can go between the brown and the gray, however you like. You just take one off, put it on the other one. It probably requires a screwdriver, I think, to do that, but it shouldn't be too hard to find one around your house if you're like me and you have hundreds of screwdrivers. If you don't have hundreds of screwdrivers, you should get hundreds of screwdrivers. That's a great thing to have around your house. That's just life tips right there. But if you happen to not like the straps that it comes with, because let's face it, they are a little ridiculous looking. They're a little chunky too. They add some definite profile to the device, I should say. We have this image below there that's demonstrating the fact that you can take those off and put on normal straps. You do not have to use the straps it comes with. You can use any Vital Bracelet BE strap. Now, it doesn't come with any others. It only comes with those two that you're looking at. And they haven't announced, well, they haven't even announced when you can get the normal Vital Bracelet BE, so of course they haven't announced when you'll be able to get extra straps and how much they will be, but there will be straps available for purchase. That is a thing that they are definitely doing. And I haven't even seen these colors yet, this pale yellow, pale gray, and kind of gray-green. I haven't seen those at all yet. I've seen like a few other types of straps, but not those. So those are some of the examples of straps you can use with this device. And yeah, whatever one you want to use, it's up to you. So moving on, adventure mode, and this is interesting. So first of all, adventure mode's been revamped to where you can now unlock multiple evolutions as you go through adventure mode. Not just the one at the end, but there are multiple evolutions that you can gain by clearing it. How deep that goes, unclear. We don't know that for sure yet. We just know that that is the mechanic. And they're probably not going to tell us before release exactly all the details about how that works, because that's kind of just the fun of playing the game and figuring it out. Obviously, I'll update the manual when we know that. But yeah, as you can see, you can go through different adventures. What I like here, specifically, is that they're showing different backgrounds from the original Virtual Pets. So we have the version 2, 3, 4, and 5 backgrounds all on this. And that's super notable, because that would imply here that these are all on the same BE memory, and the existing Dim cards only ever had one background on them. So it looks like we could probably have up to 5 on here, because if we scroll back up, we should be able to see, yeah, there's the version 1 background on the brown strap device right there. And these ones all have not the version 1 background. So we have at least 5 backgrounds on this thing. How they will appear, if maybe they only appear in adventure mode, I would hope you should be able to select them as you want. I would love to be able to have the version 5 background up at all times, because it's a nice little beach. It's very cute. But yeah, it's very neat to see that they're expanding that, both for the backgrounds and for the evolution options. We then talk about training. I'm going to talk more about training here in a second, but yeah, as you can see, Tyrannomon there is getting boosted in various ways. And we talk about the new 2v2 app. I'm going to talk about that more in a second. Not going to focus on that at the moment. And then we see everything that comes with the this purchase. So again, we have the device with the brown strap, we have the extra gray strap, we have the BE memory, and we have the art. And then we have the little taste of the roster there. Shouldn't be anything surprising. It's just the V1 once again. But we do get this, which is surprising. Was not expecting this. So when the Digital Monster version 20th came out, they gave Metal Greymon a brand new evolution, Blitz Greymon, to allow him to evolve further. Because the original Digital Monster didn't have the Stage 6 Digimon on it. Those weren't invented until the Digimon Pendulum came out. So they added those retroactively. So version 1 had Blitzgreymon. Mamemon was able to become Bancho Mamemon, which premiered somewhere else, probably in Collectors or something. And then Monzamon didn't get anything, for whatever reason. Each of the different versions on the DM20 had one perfect form that didn't evolve any further, which was kind of a bummer. So they're fixing that here, and Monzamon will be able to become Shin Monzamon, this new, large, scary-looking fire bursting out of his head, goo for wings Monzamon. It kind of takes some influences from Monzamon X, what with the goo wings and all that. So, very cool to see. No complaints about that. Always happy to see more love from Monzamon. Not big on the sprite, though. Like, they definitely could have done some better work with that. Like, I mean, the overall shape is fine, but, like, for example, like, the one hand you see there, like, the way that the hand is squared off instead of that one pixel miss. I'm not going to get too far into that. I'll be here all day. But, yeah, the design itself is great. We then have the full roster on here. So, it's everyone from V1, plus Blitzgreymon, Bancho Mamemon, and the newly announced Shin Monzamon. So that right there is 17 different Digimon. Is that right? Yeah, we have 17 different Digimon that are on the Dim. And that's how much is on a normal Dim card, right? So you may be wondering, well, are they not going to take up the full room, or is that all we're going to get? But no, it's not all we're going to get, because you can also unlock Pulsemon through Adventure Mode. And we have Pulsemon's top care line, as you can call it, on the... Well, unless you count Shroudmon as the top care. So top care until you clear Area 15 from the original Impulse City Dim. So we have Dokimon, we have... Oh gosh, I forgot the other guy's name. Bibimon? Yeah, Bibimon. We have Pulsemon, Bulkmon, Boutmon, and Kazuchimon. So they're all here. Questionable sprite design on some of these too. I think Kazuchimon and Bulkmon both look great. I think Pulsemon and Boutmon could have used a little bit of work, but that's just me, and probably other people too. I don't know. I'm not thrilled with those designs personally, but regardless, cool to see that on there, and that does take the total number of Digimon on this B memory up to 23, which is the new maximum for B memories to have over instead of Dim cards, which could only had a max of 17. So we move on, we have some kind words from Kenji Watanabe, which I'm not going to get into here, but he's just basically saying thank you, and that's the end until we count here, which is part where many of you are probably like, well, just get to the price already! And here we have the price, 12,100 yen, which, a bit pricier than I was expecting for sure, but keep in mind that this is the 25th anniversary edition, it's on Premium Bandai, and that's just kind of how that works. Those are generally more expensive. So the base model of the B memory the base model of the Vital Bracelet BE will almost certainly be much cheaper than this, because it's probably only going to come with the device itself and possibly a pack-in B memory. It's very possible they can just sell just the bracelet by itself, because it does function by itself. I'll get into that in a minute. But they will also probably do lots of bundles. So what the base model price will be, hard to say based on this, because like I could see them selling like that artwork there for like $20 on its own. Not that it's necessarily going to be worth $20. Very good artwork, don't get me wrong, but it's probably just a very small piece of paper overall. And I don't know if I'd say that's worth $20, but Premium Bandai would probably say it's worth $20. Other thing to keep in mind is that the yen is doing absolutely awful right now compared to the United States dollar, and I don't know compared to other countries how that is, but in the United States, at least right now, this equals out to around $90, just ordering it straight from here. You, of course, can't order it straight through here. That's why you would need to use someone like Zenon TCG in order to purchase it. But yeah, so it's much cheaper. So when you factor in the importing costs and everything, you probably still won't be paying all the way up to what would, if the yen was strong, this would be close to like $121. So you probably won't be paying more than that, I wouldn't imagine, depending on where you live, of course, because shipping varies all over. But yeah, so a little bit pricey compared to the other devices. The the Digivice V was selling for what, 3,800? No, not 3,800. It was more than that. It was like 4,700 yen, I want to say. So it was definitely much cheaper than this. The Vital Hero, however, is 65 United States dollars right now, and yeah, so this is more expensive than that, but this is also technically the better device. Reserve your judgment for the end of the video, I will say, comparing the Vital Hero to the Vital Bracelet BE, because I'm no longer personally of the opinion that it's just across the board better. It's technically better, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as better as I was hoping for it to be. So I definitely think if you're deciding between a Vital Hero and this, still get this, no matter what. But If you're thinking of just upgrading like a Digivice V, then maybe just double check. Not saying it's not a good idea still. Just want to make sure that the upgrades that it does have are worth it for you. So when is this releasing? So pre-orders, first of all, are open right now. They close on August 31st. And that's just through Premium Bandai itself. Other stores that are selling pre-orders might still have reservations left after that point. But it's releasing in November, so not that far away, just a few months to go. But we don't know the exact date yet, just that it will be in November. So there you go. And for those wondering who didn't want to get this and pay that much, but still want that little B memory that it comes with, it will be sold standalone sometime in the fall. We don't know when. It doesn't even say November or anything that specific. It just says in the fall it will be available. So you will be able to get that Dim. So if you really don't like these straps and you don't care about paying that much, just hold off. You can get the B memory separately if that was something you were worried about. Alright, so moving on, we have this lovely image of the Vital Bracelet B. We're going to talk about just the B in general at this point. So again, there's different colors available for the straps, at least. I don't know if these will be available as like purchasable color options, but they will be at least straps that you'll be able to buy whenever those extra straps come out. As far as I know, there's only the 2 models of the Vital Bracelet B apart from the 25th anniversary and Dual V. They sell a black one and a white one. The black one is there in the middle. The rest of them seem to be using the white model just with different straps. So if you like these straps, just keep an eye out. They will probably be selling them at some point. You probably won't need to buy a specific B just to get those straps, but we don't know that 100% for certain yet. That's just what it seems like right now. So they shared a few details about the B in a new promotional video, and some of it we already know, some of it's more clarified on things that we were told, some of it is brand new information. So in this case, we know again, we already knew it's 10% thinner, which is cool. From just looking at this picture alone, it looks like a vast improvement. 10% is a small number, but it looks like it made a big difference in this. This already looks far nicer on your wrist, I can just tell. For those wondering, the wrist strap is confirmed to be longer. I don't think they've said anywhere exactly how long it is, but I would expect it to be at least as long as the Vital Heroes, which is great. That's a much nicer fit for me, and for others that also have large wrists. So it will be a longer wrist strap than what was used on the original Vital Bracelet and the Digivice V. Training is very, very different. We touched on this already in that training will increase your stats, and we see examples of that here. So punching increases AP, which is how much damage your attacks do. Crunches will increase your HP, which is, of course, how much damage your Digimon can take before it has to stop fighting. BP, which was formerly DP, is increased by dash, and that's how likely your attacks are to hit your opponent. And then PP is done by doing squats, and that is a replacement for trophies, we have learned. So instead of you earning trophies to aid towards evolution, you now earn PP, which will determine the evolution paths that you can take. So very cool stuff to learn there. Important thing to know is that you can actually just do these trainings unlimited number of times. There's no longer a limit when you go into hard missions, which that's not going to be, I don't even think it's going to be called hard missions, it'll probably just be called training. When you go into training, you just select which exercise you want to do, and do it as many times as you want to continuously increase these stats. You do not have to wait for it to refresh each day, which is amazing. That is a really good improvement. I am really excited about that, because people will tell you one of the most annoying things was that you do your trainings for the day and you wouldn't have any more trophies to be able to earn. You could go to the app and do it that way. I personally don't like having to transfer to the app and go back to get trophies. I just want to be able to get trophies, and this will make that far, far simpler. So absolutely fantastic change. Very excited about that. Just this in general, the whole training thing in here. So I was saying, while I don't think the Vital Bracelet B is necessarily an across-the-board improvement or as much of an improvement as I was hoping, this is one of the examples where I'm like, no, this is great. This is really good improvement. This is much better than what we were doing before. I'm very excited about this. Now, even though you can train an unlimited number of times each day, it will stop increasing your stats after a certain amount of time, and that that's 100 hours after your Digimon hatches. It will no longer be able to increase its stats, which, that sounds like a long time, but it's really not. That's not even 5 days. So you have less than 5 days to get your Digimon as powered up as possible. And the next question, obviously, is, well, do the power-ups carry over from evolution to evolution? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. That was not clarified anywhere. So maybe, but we simply do not know right now. So it seems like a bit hectic, because 4 days, that's pushing it for a lot of people to be even able to reach the final stage of evolution. So yeah, it could be a little bit tight if you want to reach stage 6 and then start training it up, and then you've only got a few hours to do so. So could be tight, but hey, if you want your Digimon to be the strongest, right, you really have to put in the work, and I do like that they're emphasizing that here. One thing to note though is that this is how you raise stats. The Vital Bracelet before this had different methods of changing how stats worked, and for example, AP would be increased or decreased depending on your mood, and HP would be increased depending on your vital values, and that is not the case anymore for the Vital Bracelet B. You will not be able to even have your Digimon's mood change, it seems. That seems to be just something that doesn't exist anymore, the mood idea, which is, I think that's fine. I don't think that's necessary anymore with this being done, so I'm okay with that. Vital values, not increasing it. It's, I don't know, I kind of liked that they did that. I don't like that it's going to be entirely on training, I guess. I would have preferred vital values to also still have an influence, but it seems like those will not be influencing stats anymore either, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And apparently, if you, I'll go into more of this, but if you're using older DIMs, you basically won't be able to increase stats at all, which is a bummer, but I will get into that. So, yeah, training, overall, great change, very excited about it, looking forward to messing around with that. So then we have Vital Bracelet Arena, which is the new app that will be coming out this fall. Still don't know exactly when, but the great thing about this app is it will be facilitating live battles across the world. As you can see, these two screaming gentlemen are participating in, and how excited they are about it. Don't you want to be that excited about fighting someone and their Digimon? And yeah, it's great. So there will be 2 versus 2 battles. Right there, that picture is only showing a 1v1, but there will be 2 versus 2 battles. What that actually ends up meaning in a battle, like maybe they switch back and forth between the two, I don't know exactly how it'll work, but that's the important thing. The real time 2v2, very cool. As they were showing this off, they were also showing features from the existing Vital Bracelet Lab app, which is a little bit confusing, because it seemed like this was supposed to be a supplementary app, but it's possible that it might be a replacement for the Lab app. I don't know. I'm not sold one way or the other just yet. I'm still a bit more of the opinion that there'll be 2 apps coexisting, the Vital Bracelet Lab and the Vital Bracelet Arena, which makes sense, to some degree at least, but yeah, so I don't know for sure if that will be the case, that this will replace it or stay side by side, so we will just have to wait and find out for that one. So next thing that we have here is NFC Battles. So still about the same as always, except you may remember that the number of Digimon you can have in backup has been increased. So you can have 3 Digimon in backup, 1 being raised, which is really cool. But one thing about NFC Battles that was always really frustrating is that if you were just weaker, you probably wouldn't win. And if you were like a child stage Digimon doing NFC battles, well, then you're probably running away from every battle except those against also the child stage Digimon and hoping that you would just win that. And I don't know, it's a little bit frustrating. I'm not saying that you should win all the time by any means, but you should at least win most of the time, I would feel. Like, you should be able to have that ability to control whether or not you can win. And so here's what they're doing, is that the Digimon that you have in backup will be able to assist during NFC battle. So as you battle an NFC opponent, whoever you have in backup will join the fight. As you can see here, we have Vmon joining the fight with Gammamon to fight Gulos Gammamon, and they will contribute to the battle in some way or the other, which is honestly really cool. It gives the Digimon something to do while they're in backup, which is, yeah, I really like that. That means if you're raising a child stage Digimon, throw a stage 6 Digimon into backup, and let that do most of the work during battles. I don't know how much influence they will have, but it does seem like it will be a lot easier to win battles by having this extra help. So definitely very much looking forward to that. So that's the video. That's the video portion that they showed. They also shared a nice big article. Love that they're doing this, answering a lot of what they anticipate to be frequently asked questions. You know how I feel about FAQs. Love them. Best things in the world. So they have a lot of things to go over in here, so we'll talk about each of these. First thing, attributes. So Digimon have attributes of vaccine, data, virus, and free, and they're no longer going to be listed as such on the Vital Bracelet B, it seems. Instead, they're going to be shown as circle, triangle, square, and free. And this is driving me insane because the Digibattle card game in America used shapes at the top left corner instead of letters like the Japanese version did, and those shapes are not the same shapes they're using here, and I just cannot change my association, because in my mind, vaccine should be circle, data should be triangle, and virus should be, data should be square, and triangle should be virus. Like, that's just the association that I'm used to. And so here it looks like virus is circle, date is triangle, and vaccine is square, and I just can't get behind that. It's very upsetting to me. So, in fact, that's even how it kind of is in the video games too, isn't it? Like, I don't know, the viruses are all spiky like a triangle. The vaccines have a little circle coming out of them. I think data are squares. I don't know, I haven't played the video games in a bit. Digimon Survive came out, still haven't played it yet. That's this weekend. Either way, that's just me being dumb on the shapes, by the way. The shapes are fine. I don't care what shapes they're actually assigned to. I just have that old association from when I was 10 years old playing Digibattle. That's how I always viewed them. So actual shapes don't matter, and this change also, I wouldn't say matters. This just makes it more universal for everyone, so they don't have to worry about having different notation for each franchise. Because as you see, the Vital Basic characters had different notation, SP, TN, P, and Free still, for whatever reason. But with this being a much more than Digimon device, having a very non-Digimon way of doing an attribute triangle is important. Likewise, same thing with stages. So instead of it being baby, child, etc., they always list numbers next to those as well, but they say the name of the stage next to the number. They're just going straight up with the numbers themselves. So we have phase 1, 2, 3, all the way through 6. So nothing wrong with that. I am firmly of the mindset that when speaking to other people, you should generally use the stage numbers instead of the stage names. I swap between both, obviously. I'm used to saying the stage names, but it's much more clear to use the numbers. If you say stage 6, no one has to be like, wait, is that ultimate for Japan or ultimate for English? You just say stage 6, everyone knows what you're talking about. So I'm in favor of that change for sure. Next one, it talks about the types of missions you could do. So they're not going to be normal, hard, and special missions anymore. It's just going to be you choose what type of training you do, but there will still be adventure missions. That will still happen, and again, you can do the trainings as many a time in a day as you want. So, very happy with that change. I think getting rid of the difference between normal, hard, and special, no problem with that whatsoever. I think that's great. That does mean you won't be able to send missions from the app, but again, I don't like doing that, so I think it's great. Status. So, let's just say stats, actually. Your stats, I already talked about this, DPHP, AP, trophies. Yeah, nothing else to really talk about here that we didn't already mention. Other than that, again, I will... Did I say it already? I don't know. I'll say it again to be safe, or reiterate if I already did say it. You cannot increase the stats of Digimon that come from traditional Dim cards. That's not something you can do. So your BP, HP, and AP will stay the same. You will still get PP, which again is just trophies. That will still happen, but you cannot increase the other stats. It sounds like they've changed enough things in here to where it just isn't immediately compatible, and while I would have liked to see them do some calculations to make it still work, they just opted to go the simpler route and make Dim cards not do that. Now, here's the unfortunate truth about that, is that this does mean that Dim cards are essentially not as useful on a Vital Bracelet BE as they were on the original Vital Bracelet models, and that's rather unfortunate. I don't like that. Like, this is definitely steering towards using the Vital Bracelet BE memory cards instead of Dim cards as much as you can. The Dim cards are still technically compatible, but you are missing out on stuff by using them on the BE. You'll be able to use them to their fullest by using them on the Digivice V or the Vital Hero. I would recommend using those if you really cared about all the intricacies of the Dim. Now, in reality, will that matter a whole lot? Maybe not, but there's already a ton of Digimon on Dim cards, and that's why this is kind of my biggest bummer about the Vital Bracelet BE, and why it's not as much of an upgrade as I thought it would be, is because if all those Digimon that are already out there just aren't 100% compatible and aren't really going to be as useful to use in 2v2 battles and all that, and will not be as strong as other Digimon because you can't raise their stats, it's just yeah, it's just a big bummer. That's all there is to it. I'm not thrilled about that. So it's still overall cool, and again, using the BE memories, it'll be great. This is just kind of similar to how it was back in the day when Digimon Pendulum came out, and sure, you could battle the Digimon Pendulum against the digital monster, but it wouldn't even be a contest. The Digimon Pendulum would win every time because it was programmed to be the winning device. It wasn't even programmed. It's not that even that it was programmed to be stronger, it was programmed to be the strongest. If you chose Piomon on your Wingardium's Pendulum, that Piomon fighting a Piomon from the digital monster would win every single time because Pendulum Piomon registered the same way that a Monzamon at more than full training, or rather more than full protein, would register. It was above the max cap of the digital monster. So, I don't know, that kind of feels similar to this. I guess it could be expected because this is the next model, this is the next year, this is technically the next device. We refer to the Vital Bracelet BE in the same breath as Vital Bracelet's originals a lot, but really it is a new device, so I can't expect full compatibility. It's just not how it works. It's never been the case in any Digimon Virtual Pet. And the fact that they at least have some compatibility is fantastic. Not even just some. You can still get almost everything that you would normally out of the Dim cards on this device. It's just a few missing features, and so not that big a deal. Disappointing, but not that big a deal. Here's the other missing feature, though. Jogress. So there's not going to be the standard type of Jogresses. We talked about this in the previous video, where like, oh, if you're going to have 3 in backup, how will they choose which one to Jogress? They won't. They just simply won't. That's all there is to it. So there will still be cross-Dim Jogresses, where a specific Digimon needs to Jogress with another one. So for example, Metal Garurumon and Wargreymon combining to become Omegamon. That is still something that will be done. But if you have a Digimon that you're raising that is, let's say, a vaccine adult, and you have a virus adult in backup, while they would Jogress on the original models, that will not happen on these. So you won't be able to follow those types of evolution paths on the Vital Bracelet BE when using a Dim card. And I would assume B memories just flat out won't be programmed with any Jogress options at all. That's what I would assume from this. So again, another bit of a bummer, but I get it. Honestly, Jogress just felt like it was cheating anyway. So whatever. I will always love Jogress, but not the biggest of losses. Alright, so then we have the Versus Dim and Versus VBM. So those are just not going to be used anymore, and they didn't give any kind of replacement for that, so it may be that there's just not going to be a way to do local battles on the Vital Bracelet BE, which I would say is a bummer if doing them on the Vital Bracelet was fun to begin with. It wasn't. Like, just plugging in your Versus memory and giving it to somebody else is like, and waiting, so much waiting for something to happen. It wasn't a great experience to begin with, so honestly, while they are taking something away, I wouldn't consider it a loss at all. I think the idea here is that they want to promote the online battles, which technically, even if you're in the same room, you can still do an online battle. It's not a local battle, but you can still do it with somebody else in the same room, so whatever. As long as you guys got your phones on you, then you'll be fine. Tamer rank goes away. Does anyone care? No. Did anyone care that it existed to begin with? I hope not. It's just a number. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that being gone whatsoever. Storage space, we already talked about that. While before you can only have 1 in backup, now you can have up to 3. Very important thing here, the Dim cards, number of uses. You could use only 1 on the original. You could use up to 3 on the Digivice V, and now you can use up to 3 different devices when it came to the Digivice V with 1 Dim card. Now it doesn't matter. Just use your Dim cards and B memories as much as you want on as many different devices as you want. It's no longer limited. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. We already knew it, but I will never stop being happy about it because the way things was stupid, and that now there's just no limitation whatsoever. Thank you, Bandai. Thank you for doing that. And then we have the character change destination, and this is actually somewhat of an exciting new feature. It's weird that it showed up on here. This doesn't really seem like the type of thing that should be like, here's the differences between old models and new models, because the old models didn't have anything like this. So apparently there will be something called an evolution change destination menu, which what that means is super unclear. You can speculate on that as much as you want, but it seems like at the very least there will be some kind of page to indicate what your evolution option or options will be. There's something on the Digivice IC which did something that I can imagine this being, where depending on how you're raising your Digimon, there would be a silhouette in the menu that would indicate what your next Digimon would be. It would show you what you would be evolving into based on how you were currently raising it. And I could see that making a return. I think that would be really cool. I would love that. It would make it far more clear for people to know what they're getting before they get it as opposed to after. Now, I think it's still fun to be left in suspense personally, so it's like, for me, this won't be big, but I know for a lot of people, it'll take a lot of confusion out. They'll be like, oh, why did I get Birdramon? I was going for Tyrannomon. Instead, they'll be like, oh, I'm going to get Birdramon. I better look to see why that is before they actually end up getting Birdramon, and they can change course at that point. So, is that what this is going to be? Again, no clue. No idea. No idea what this will actually be, but I'm interested in learning more about it for sure. So, that's pretty much it. That's everything that we really have to go over with the Vital Bracelet BE and every piece of little news that we got about it. So, yeah. If you want to order it, again, pre-orders are open now for the 25th Anniversary Edition. If you prefer to wait for one of the normal models that might not be as expensive, I'm sure they'd be announcing them sometime soon. I can't imagine these will come out at that far from the 25th Anniversary Edition, or I can't imagine that they won't even release on the same day. I should hope that the 25th isn't the first one to come out, but It might be a little bit different in time, who knows, but I can't imagine it won't be like around the same month. So look out for these in November. In the coming months, they will definitely be announcing more details about that release. We might not get many more details about the devices themselves, about how they operate, because honestly, what we just got was kind of a lot, and there's not a whole lot of mysteries left as to the general operation of the device. I think we've gotten enough information to know everything that we really need to know before purchasing. Obviously, there's still mysteries I would like to know that I will find out after receiving mine and look into it and get all those details out. I do have to make a new page specifically for the BE, because like I said, this is kind of a whole new model. It's not just a upgraded Vital Bracelet, it's a new addition entirely. Kind of similar to how the Digivice First was very different from the Digivice IC and kind of is its own device altogether. So I'm definitely going to be making new pages, both for covering the BE memories and for describing how to operate the Vital Bracelet BE, so that'll be up at some point in the future. Probably not before it releases, mind you, but at some point in the future. So look out for that. And then if you want to stay up to date with all the various news coming out about these devices, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. I will update every random little thing that pops up, and also join the Discord server where those updates get posted in the news channel right away as they happen, so you're always 100% up to date if you are reading through that channel. So that is going to be it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!